Hey guys, Stealth here. I already briefly looked at the OF40 before when I was testing my videos for Armored Warfare, but let's have an actual detailed review of this tank. You can find this tank in Wolfley's line of Leopard variant main battle tanks. It's the tier 4 and it leads to the Leopard 1A5, the 2, the 2A4 and everything that goes with 2A something. Now this tank, if you compare it to the T64, you're going to find some major differences. And the T64 has a sort of different profile or a different role on the battlefield than the OF40. If you compare them armor-wise, you can see that the Leopard version or the OF40 has a frontal hull armor of 70 with a turret of 200. Both of which are very much higher on the T64. You got 205 frontal hull armor there and 320 frontal turret armor. Though the T64 is very difficult to penetrate. As far as mobility goes, the Leopard or the OF40 wins it slightly by getting better acceleration, but otherwise the speed is virtually the same. And of course, keep in mind that I haven't upgraded the engine on the T64 yet, so you're getting slightly distorted ratings there. Vision range on the Leopard is 388, which is not bad for a main battle tank, and camouflage rating is only 0.10. So expect this thing to get hit or to get spotted real quickly. So what makes this OF40 interesting compared to the 64? Well, the rate of fire is pretty good. You get a 7-second reload versus an 8.57. And you get a very good targeting time of 2.3 seconds versus 3.3 seconds. And you may have seen my T64 review, and in it I showed you that the T64 just takes a long time to aim. Sitting still for 3 seconds is a long while, and the shorter you can sit still, the better you can perform, and that's something that the OF40 does very well. So the OF40 isn't necessarily a frontline main battle tank like the T64, but it's a good second line. It can snipe very well, it can relocate quickly, and it can put out quite some fire on multiple different targets. Now you can see that with the heat round that I have loaded, that is this one, I'm doing quite a bit of damage, 386 with a 242mm penetration. Other weapon choices or round choices that I have is the AP-FSDS, which has a pen of 259 but a damage that's significantly lower at 269. Compare that to 368 with very good pen, 242 versus 259, so you're only missing out on 17 millimeters, and that at this tier makes the heat round pretty much the weapon of choice. The only thing that you don't want to be firing heat at is the T64. That's because the T64 has composite armor, and it's one of the first units to have that. It has steel and fiberglass composite armor, which means that if you fire at this thing with heat rounds, it's not going to be as effective as it normally would. And that's something that may put off the OF40 drivers, because you will not be able to do that much damage. But if you can pen a T64 from the sides with a heat round, you're still going to do a lot of damage. Now the upgrades that you can get for this tank is an armor refit slot, a retrofit slot, you can get one of those. You can upgrade the AP-FSDS ammo. You can get a better, you can only get a standard high explosive plastic round, but I never use this. And then you can get some really nice heat rounds. And I would recommend going for this one first, because this is going to be the main damage dealer of the tank. As far as the engines go, you can unlock a better engine, which is going to improve your acceleration by about a second, and you can get another mobility retrofit slot. You can get smoke grenades on this tank, which allows you to pull back into cover quickly, and it's something that I believe the 64 just doesn't have. They don't have that technology. And since you don't have that great armor, if you're dealing with, say, an incoming ATGM or a large amount of tanks, you press G, you pop your smoke, and you pull back as fast as you can. As far as other upgrades, you got the commander sight, which improves view range, and you can get the overall accuracy and improvement by getting the laser rangefinder. Then you can get a technology retrofit slot, and as far as the proven stats go, you can unlock a retrofit with this, which is the air induction pre-cleaner, which gives you a lot more hull traverse and a bit of acceleration, but I haven't gotten that far yet. You can also get 2 cash influxes, and I went with those because I was a little strapped for cash. Now, the retrofits that I have on this tank are all geared towards doing damage or staying alive. So in my firepower slot I have the experimental propellant, which is pretty much a no-brainer for tanks as it's always going to be useful. Getting just that 5% more damage done is going to be significant in the long run. And the more damage you do, the more damage or the more XP you get, which means faster grinding and getting that better, shinier tank sooner. Internal hull reinforcements give you more hit points. They don't actually do a lot to your armor, but it's just to improve your hit point pool. And that's something that the OF64 does really nicely. It has 1478 hull points or hit points with the upgrade, versus the 1311 hit points on the T64. So you actually have quite a large hit point pool for a tank like this. Next up I have the enhanced drivetrain, which is going to give me a little bit of extra speed, but especially the turret traverse speed is something that I'm interested in. The faster I can swing my turret around to deal with new threats, the more likely I am to survive. And then finally, in the tech slot, I went with the augmented optics, which gives me even better vision range. And you can also, I believe, go with other slots here, but I found this one for this tank to be the most useful. As far as crew goes, again, smooth ride, doing more damage on the move by being accurate that way. Do the twist, which improves my turret traverse by 10%, and finally explosive shells, which gives me more module damage. For the commander, again I have Philip, which is a commander that you may have seen in multiple tanks with me by now. More damage to modules if I'm near allies. If allies get hit, I'm going to do more damage by a faster reload. I got Bullseye, which overall improves my accuracy. I got Fitness Training, which improves crew hit points, and finally I got Vigilant. As far as consumables go, I still need to switch these out for the better versions of it. The better versions, if you're not familiar with them, they provide a passive bonus, even if you don't use it. This one gives you a increased repair speed by 10%, even if you don't use the repair kit itself. The medical kit gives you 15% increase in crew resilience, and it just gets recycled if you don't decide to use it. And an automatic fire extinguisher will put out any fires if my vehicle catches fire. So that's it for the discussion of the tank. Let's get into a PvP match and actually start doing some damage. Now, before we get in that, the one thing that I need to do with this tank is stay hull down. My lower hull armor is not that good. The turret armor is remarkably good. So I need to be either a second line tank where I don't take that much fire, or I need to go hull down, and if I can do both, that would be ideal. So going hull down, keeping my hit points high, and preferably not getting hit at all. We're going to load up the River Point map, where you can see that the enemy team has quite a few main battle tanks, OF40s and T64s, as well as 2 artillery units, which is something that I have found this tank to be a bit susceptible to, because it doesn't have that much armor. Some LAVs in the other team, and a bit of recon, but not that much. Let's see what I have on my team. OF40, Starship, T64, Sheridans, Jalo Swingfires. Right. With this tank, I'm going to go towards this side. I have tried playing over here, but I found that it doesn't really work for this tank, or at least I haven't found a way to make it work yet. And over here on the right is usually the terrain for medium vehicles or fire support vehicles. You can even see a T64 and an OF40 going that way. There's enough terrain cover for me to hide my hull behind so that only my turret's sticking out. And with my heat round I can do a lot of damage to any fire support vehicle of the enemy team that I might encounter. Unfortunately, we do not have a recon other than that swing fire over there. So I'm hoping that the swing fire is still going to come a bit closer and do some actual spotting. I'm going to stick near the T-64 so that he can deliver the first blow and I deliver the second. His armor will bounce any round that come in if he's angling it correctly. And hopefully he's going to draw fire so that I don't have to. I can see the gun depression on this tank is actually okay. It's not the best, but it works. There's a 64 there that did not get hit. But it seems that we're not getting spotted here. That's significant. Because it means that we are not yet being encountered by an armored fighting vehicle. Now, what I did see go up there was artillery. The thing is, guys, I don't want to be the first one to... Ooh, hello. I see really good zoom-in speed there, and I killed off the artillery. And now we finally get a response from the red team. There's a Sheridan up there. Sheridans, with their 152mm weapons, can do a massive amount of damage to a lightly armored unit like this one. Bounced around from an LEV 300, and I think that hit my hull and the slightly sloped armor of it. There's a swing fire there. It's going to be a bit of standoffish here, probably. I'm barely getting spots on this Sheridan here, but I'm getting enough. 419 damage. There's two T-64s down there, as well as a swing fire. So it's going to be not that easy to push up into them. Or we're going to have to do it all at the same time. There's a T-64 showing his side. Bad choice. And now his hull down. Making it really difficult for me to pen him. Swing fire pushing up. Pretty unusual for swing fire to be that aggressive. But I'm going to capitalize on that and give him some fire support. Sheridan is still alive. I really would like that thing out of play. Didn't do any damage there because I missed. These T-64s are really close together. I'm taking on a lot of fire. I tracked him. Tracking damage, I believe, also helps. So if you can immobilize a vehicle, that makes it easier for your team to actually do damage to them. Tracked him again. Missile going in. I got a hit by the LEV, but the T-64 that I was expecting to start hitting me didn't go through. Hang on, did I get hit by a friendly? Yep. I got hit by a friendly. There's an LEV there, but he's way on the other side of the map. I can't hit that. That Sheridan might still be there. Yep, it is still there. He's probably trying to get an ATGM off. 250 because I wasn't firing heat, but APF is DS. This OF-40 took a massive hit here, down to 2 hit points. I gotta be careful around him. If he gets rammed, that's going to kill him off.
Identify target. Hostile tank.
I'm exposing myself to a bit of fire here, but I have the hit points to survive.
Identify target.
At least for a bit. Good hit on the Sheridan there. HGM coming in. And the swing fire in the middle of the map took out the Sheridan, so now we can actually push up and into them. Tanks here are dead, it's just a Kvastika, one of those LAV 300s there. And the final unit is an OF40, which supposedly hasn't been seen the entire game, because it's still at the main spawn. See that I'm moving really quickly across this terrain. Let's get a shot into that one. Didn't get him, snapshot. I think that one may have been AFK, or botting the entire time, I don't know. Surprise! He may hit me, but I got the hit points. There you go. 2280 damage done. And I only took 730 damage. Now, of course, this is taking forever again, considering my game has frozen or not. No, it's loading in. And I think the game is, I don't know, it may be crashing slightly. Let me just pause the recording here and get it back up once I get the result screen. There, got the result screen up. 3,500 experience there. I got the gold medal for getting the most reputation. I'm not sure how I pulled that off. I got the most damage off, that's it. As well as probably getting decent amount of spotting damage, but not that much. But I also got damage from immobilization. That tracking damage was the only damage that I could have done in that situation, and it actually helped me get a bit more XP. I also got another medal, which is the Master Gunner, and that's something that I frequently get on the OF40, because I usually do a lot of accurate damage with this tank. Got 98,000 credits, which subtracted... actually didn't subtract that much, because I didn't have to get any repairs. A little bit, 600 credits, but that's it. So, really good result with the OF40. I can actually get the air induction pre-cleaner unlocked. I don't really need it, but just nice to have it unlocked. Okay, let's load up another game and get you some more gameplay. Okay, new game loading in. A lot of OF40s in this one, as well as a massive amount of T-64s on the enemy team. So they got a lot of armor, but they don't have a lot of mobility. As far as other vehicles that they got, a couple of main battle tanks. They have, as far as spotters is concerned, nothing. While we have 2 swing fires. So their best spotters are going to be the Sheridan, the LAVs and the Jalos. Other than that, they're going to have to rely on the main optics of their tanks themselves. And that's going to be an advantage. Because as fast as we can spot them with the swing fires, or as soon as we can spot them, we can actually start doing damage to them. I'm going to have to really get my ammo loadout correct when engaging those T-64s. If I engage them with the wrong round, I'm going to not go through the target. It's just going to bounce off harmlessly. Let's see, there's a swing fire pushing it pretty aggressively over on the right, and it has actually got the survivability and the cloaking capability to stay alive. Quick shot in the OF40 there. Going in for 380. Moving perpendicular right now to try and get into cover. I'm going to get caught out in the open here. Unfortunately, I only got track damage there. See, there it is again, but it's going right into the dip of the terrain there, making it very difficult to actually get a good shot into him. Yeah, that's Starry, one of the platoons in there. So we can expect not only that one to be there, but also his buddy. Always look at the platoon list and see who's linked up with who. And this is where the fast aim speed of the Leopard, or the OF40, I'm also constantly calling it Leopard because it is in that line, really comes into use. Because I can pop out quickly, get a shot in, and get back into cover. Which is exactly what I intend to do. Taking all sorts of artillery fire here. Got 2 Gvastikas firing at me probably. Otherwise you don't have that high rate of fire. T-64 here is in cover. Ish. That is, until this LAV gets out of my way, I can actually put a round into him. Again, only track damage, and I got hit by the Sheridan with one of those massive heat rounds of his. Gotta start playing a bit more carefully. And this constant getting in the way of the LAV 300 makes it so that I cannot do that much reliable damage here. Without being at risk of shooting that guy in the back of his head. Which generally is, let's say, frowned upon. Jesus. Again got hit by the Sheridan. That thing has to go. I'm now a one-shot for anything out there. So I'm gonna pull back and take up a sniper role. It's just too dangerous for me at the front line right now. And there you go. Got killed off, unfortunately. Okay, let's pause it here and wait for the next replay. Okay, pretty poor result there. Only 535 credits, and I ended up somewhere in the bottom half of the team. So, what could I have done better there? Paid much more attention to the Sheridan. I got wasted really fast by that thing by just taking 2 or 3 rounds from it and then dying to a last round of 264. So it was too aggressive, and that's what happens if you use this tank too close to the front line. It is a great supporting tank, but it is not that good towards the front line. Anyway, with these 2 gameplays, I hope you got a good idea of how to play this tank. The first one was, of course, by far the best. I got a really good result there by not only doing pure damage, but by also supporting allies and tracking enemies. Tracking enemies is still a good way to get damage, get XP, and help your team win. Anyway, hope you liked watching this OF40 review. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you liked it, please hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next review.